Hello, and welcome to the 2018 League of Legends College Championship. Over 300 university teams have spent the past 5 months participating across 6 regional leagues to prove their mettle. The final 8 have gathered here at the LCS studio in Los Angeles for their shot at College Champion. Today, 4 of those teams take to the Rift, starting with the defending champions, Maryville University. They're challenged by Illinois from the Big Ten Network. Representing the Southern Conference, the University of Texas, Dallas. And fighting to claim glory and pride for the Northern Conference, Columbia College. This is College Esports.
What I have to say to Illinois is I've never heard of them. I have no clue who any of their players are.
Illinois, you better bring out some cheese strat because you guys are definitely not going to beat us in standard play.
We're playing against Maryville first, but only person I know on that team is Prototype, and that's because he was toxic in the past.
I'd be impressed if you guys took 1 game off of us.
The pressure is all on Maryville, the first seed. So if we can take game 1, I think we'll take the whole series.
Prove it. We'll have to prove it.
There's a little bit of a rivalry between our mid laners. I think there's going to be a lot of friction between the two.
UT Dallas has a really strong mid laner. I see him a lot in solo queue.
He hit rank 1, he had this AMA and whatever.
And I have a lot of practice against him, so I'm glad I get to go match up against him again.
I don't think he's that great though.
They're pretty irrelevant though, so I think we've already done plan for Maryville.
We are the dark horse in this competition, and we can definitely take it all.
Hello, League fans, and welcome to the 2018 League of Legends Championship presented by State Farm. The lights are on, the stage is set, and family and friends are all over the crowd as we are ready to crown a champion this weekend. I'm Rivington Bizzle III, and helping me get in that collegiate mindset is Aiden Zyrene Moon.
All right, Riv, taking you back. You're going to be, close your eyes for a second. You're a decade and a half younger, all right? You're in a room.
You got to go back farther than that.
Really? Oh my gosh. It's like the room is set, the table is up, the solo cups are there, everybody's having a great time, but you're in the corner because, you know, crippling social anxiety is a thing.
Yeah.
So is that kind of accurate? Or is mine not representative of everybody's experience?
Well, that's all right. We see that they are ready because they've been in front of that PC. They have no social anxiety because that's what they've done is brought these teams together with 5 strong or even more with the subs ready to play behind them. And for those of you not familiar with this collegiate championship, here is the class, the 101 class from Zyrene.
Exactly. The teams in attendance today had to actually compete through their given conferences across North America. The circuit is broken up into 6 different regions. First is by geography. So there's the North, the South, the East, and the West. And alongside them, the teams competed in the Big Ten Network, as well as the Peach Belt Conference.
There's a lot of competition coming in. A collection of conference finals from those regions and the play-in tournament gave us our 8 competitors vying for the 2018 title. All that culminated into our bracket today, where coming out on top in a best of 3 will push you to the final 4, where it's all best of 5s until we crown that champion. Today, we've got the #1 seed in Maryville looking to defend their title against the #8 seed Illinois, who we just heard from before. Then UT Dallas hope to take down Columbia College before we call day 1.
And then we return tomorrow to close out the top 8 with my alma mater, UC Irvine, taking on Ottawa University, followed by another Canadian school in Western Ontario versus Maryland.
That's right, and looking towards our first series today, without further ado, let's introduce you to the players. Starting game one on the blue side, it is the University of Illinois. That means in the top lane, we have Topotamus. In the jungle is INW Project 1. Mid lane is Zeno, bot, Korean Danny, support, New behind him, and Coach Quail.
And challenging them on the red side, it's the defending champions from last year, Maryville University. In the top lane, returning Saskio, jungler Walrus, CKG in mid, prototype bot with support West, and Coach X Sojin.
A lot of no names on this team. Gonna have to put up a good fight against them. For those of you who watched last year's college championship, some of you will remember Walrus, who most notably earned himself a pentakill on the big stage, but wasn't the intended starter for Maryville coming out of that regular season.
Yeah, Maryville had been playing with cat ears in the jungle for the second half of their season, but he had to be removed due to falling out of academic eligibility. One of the conditions in the league is that you maintain your standings academically, but luckily for Maryville, they've been able to slot Walrus back into the lineup, and now they have 4/5 of their championship roster from last year.
It feels pretty good. We'll see if we can lock in this type of play again this week. We'll see if the Esports Club from Illinois can topple the reigning champs in their first appearance in the college championship.
Yeah, this team barely missed out on participating in the top 8 last year, and even though they came up short in their conference finals versus Maryland, they earned a spot through the play-ins. And while this team hasn't earned a conference title, their mid laner Zeno has proven to be a threat in their climb to the top 8.
He really has. We heard of the players themselves kind of talking about these two guys being very good. Zeno actually being one of the better players out of all of them, top 50 in Challenger as well as a mid laner. So he definitely brings a little power to the table.
Yeah, and one thing that really you do have to watch out for with this lineup is they're the 8th seed coming in versus the 1st seed.
They don't feel like it, though.
And they talked about it. They don't feel like they're that 8th seed. They also feel like they stand a very good chance, but also that the pressure's on Maryville. That Maryville are the ones that are going to have to prove that they're better than this team, because if you lose to the 8th seed as the defending champions coming in as number 1, if you drop one game in a best of 3, the momentum is entirely in your corner as the people who are trying to upset.
Especially when you come in talking a lot of smack, saying they don't have a chance against this competition. Let's see what you got. So, as you're saying, if you can play on that mentality early, they could very well get this game in their favor. It's going to have to be 2 to Illinois if they want it in this best of 3. We could go all 3 if these teams really want to push each other to the long haul. Zoe and Rakan to start things off on the side of Illinois, and Aurelia and Morgana for Maryville.
And one thing I want to talk about here is that side selection was given to Maryville. They decided that they wanted the red side. And also something that Illinois decided right before coming in here is they actually swapped out their jungler. They had been using Minsu. Their substitute INW Project 1, he's actually only played 9 games with the team, but he played 80 carry for them. So slotting into the jungle here, I'm actually really interested to see what type of strategy they run. If they are running, like, I thought Graves potentially marksman jungle, Kaisa marksman jungle, stuff like that may be something that we see, but I don't know if that's going to happen here, and if you'll just slot in as a jungler for the team and just be another person to try and carry from that jungle role.
Pretty early aggression taken out there with the Graves, not allowing Walrus damage around the jungle to start things off, and a Trundle actually aimed at Illinois. What will they decide is priority here in first pick? Knowing Maryville, big champion pools, can play very well across the variety of champions that they have as well. So Illinois has to, I feel like, pick for comfort here and not try to play reactive. There's the Kaisa.
Yeah, I was about to say, you got to pick the Kaisa first pick. This is patch 8.9. This is not the Scuttle patch. This is not Scuttle Rebuttal, which comes in on 8.10. This is not 8.11. This is the patch where Rift Herald had just been changed. It's one patch after MSI. Rift Herald's stronger when it has less HP, or overall it's stronger, and you'll still do a lot of damage. Baron is harder to take, more HP, and does more damage. Hasn't been nerfed in terms of its damage either. And then the last thing is kind of Unsealed Spellbook got changed so that you can change out summoner spells at any point on the map. It's a single-use summoner spell. And that's something that we have to watch here, because it does shift some mid lane champions and some top lane champions that previously really kind of abused Spellbook. So yeah, I'm expecting a meta that's very similar to MSI in terms of the pick priority, because there weren't too many shifts. It was just mages that got kind of some base stat adjustments and some item changes in terms of cost and AP. So that's really what I'm looking at here in 8-9. Not so much that's going to be different from the Midseason Invitational.
The Braum and Skarner locked in on the side of Maryville, but we do see Kaisa and the Olaf now. So not getting that Kaisa to the jungle to start things off. We'll see what happens here with the Ornn being locked in. So first phase over for Illinois. Haven't shown too much They have a tanky composition. Let's see what kind of AP they can sort into that in phase 2 as Maryville finishes off.
And for Maryville right here, potentially picking your top laner, something like a Scion before it gets banned out would be nice. But looks like they're going to go with the Karma, and it's 100% going to be mid because they have the Braum already locked in for the support here. So CKG pretty much picking that neutral Karma mid laner. It's something that at MSI was actually quite good, but didn't really see too much in terms of its wave clear to go to the side lanes until later on in the tournament, where you're supporting a kind of a hyper carry, AD carry. And if there's anything I know about Prototype, big Vayne player, big Jinx player, loves playing those champions where when he hits those 2-3 item spikes, he completely takes over the game and becomes the focus.
Very much so. One of the AD carries that'll step forward with confidence, try to make the plays. Having a few shields behind him will be fantastic as a Tom Kench gets knocked out of the way for Illinois. And they say, Saskio, you get no Singe this game. Interesting target ban there.
Very powerful champion right now on live, and also just in these patches, it's kind of only Singed one tricks really played Singed, but he's gotten so powerful and so, I guess, has a lot of momentum on live where people are playing him a decent amount that, yeah, you can go back and go, oh yeah, Singed was actually a good champion for a while. It's kind of like when Ardent Censor people found out it was good. It'd actually been good for about half a year, but it wasn't like rush it type of good. But if you were to go back in time, be like, now I know what they don't know. But right here, the Singed banned away, as well as the Ashe picked up here.
Ezreal, as well as they hit up Prototype, he picks up the Ashe. Kind of start things off. So it's not a hyper carry we were expecting. Who is going to be able to deliver that kind of damage here coming in from the side of Maryville? They have a pretty good consistent fight overall, but they'll kind of be chipping away at you. Talia on the other side coming in for Zeno. He will feel nice on that pick, and they'll be able to get extended fights in with that Cosmic Radiance.
Yeah, and the Talia is something, oh, wait a second. Okay, they're gonna have backline dive here to try and get on the Kaisa and potentially the Talia with the Malphite, which is a pick that started becoming a little more popular when you can get things like Trinity Force in the build. And in tank versus tank matchups, he actually fares quite well because he gets to farm up and doesn't have to worry about being shoved in the whole time. So I do want to watch that matchup very closely where Saskio on the red side got to last pick against the Ornn, but then Prototype on the Ashe, his most played champion of the split. And you're saying, where's the damage going to come from? It has to come from Prototype primarily and a little bit from CKG.
Still feels like you can do it. They obviously have the option to really start picking people off. This is a level 6 team you have coming out of Maryville here. Once they hit 6, need to be mobile, need to start collecting those kills. On the other side, Zeno, maybe a little bit of roaming to go on. You have Topopotamus being Ornn up against the Malphite in the top lane, so there may just be kind of a back and forth island there. Do you expect to see the junglers paying a visit, or are they going to be in the bot lane?
I expect the junglers to pay more attention to the bottom side of the map because both these top laners are very good at TPing into a fight level 6 and then making something happen. If anything happens early, it's potentially the Olaf going top lane versus the low mobility Malphite to try and get something to kind of kick them off.
All right, we are loading in for your first match of the 2018 Collegiate Championships. Maryville University versus Illinois. Maryville, the defending champions, against the 8th seed Illinois coming in. They say they don't feel like it. We'll see if they can prove it on the Rift. We're about to be into game as both teams made their selection. Maryville with the interesting kind of less damage composition, but we'll see if they can make it work and orchestrate the fights the way they want them. Game 1, we are on the Rift.
First seed versus the 8th seed here. Maryville, with the side selection, chose red, and it ended up with a Malphite in the top lane. And I want to see what Saskio does with this champion, as well as watching the opposite side of the map with Prototype. And on the side of the University of Illinois, you got to watch Korean Danny. Kaisa, whenever she's in the game, she has kind of the ability to take over the game in the mid game once she gets to those item spikes. But you see she's already gone for a defensive build here in defensive lane. Tarek for the healing, and then also has the shield, the Doran shield, to kind of sustain himself. But both mid laners really want to shove and go to these side lanes. So I'm looking for what's going to happen in both top and bottom, because the mid laners are pretty much, I would assume, trying to not be interactive with each other. Shove the lane and then go to the sides.
Do what they can. A few dematerializers around. Actually, quite a few as we jump back to patches of 8.9. It does look like even Zeno says, I don't want to be a part of that. I know they're below me. They could come up and be a little crazy here after getting the Spire. And that's something we'll have to watch as well.
Yeah, and the reason that this is played on 8.9 is because this is the patch that they qualified on. A month ago, things were kind of locked in for the teams. And that's when, 8 goes out, 8-9 is not very disruptive. And then the teams are battling for who's the best college in North America in terms of League of Legends program. And there's some scholarship programs out there that really want to bring home that trophy. And even the ones that are club teams want to bring home that trophy versus scholarship teams and say, we deserve a little bit more, potentially from the school, but also saying the recognition that the school has put resources into them, it validates the program. And that's kind of what it's about here, is the competitive integrity of that, is who made it here, who deserved to be here, and not have that disruptive change happen right before.
Absolutely, and there's quite a bit of pressure on that. You gotta have good grades as well, be coordinating with the team, understand your teammates' play, and League of Legends is a 5-man game. You can't kind of disengage that communication at any time.
I mean, you're just talking about you gotta keep your grades up, you gotta juggle all these things.
Yeah.
We had this fun fact here of Korean Danny. Apparently, he juggles playing League while full-time at Illinois, in addition to having 2 part-time jobs.
Which is a full-time job, right?
I don't think that's how it works. But yeah, we can treat it like one.
It's math. It's 2 halves.
I mean, usually, like, playing League is a full-time job.
Well, that's true.
Attending university is a full-time job. And then 2 part-times on top of it.
That's one hell of a resume, and he's still in college. We'll see what he can do at game. Right now on the Kaisa, CS is pretty even all around, as things are quiet from the jungle as well. Scuttles are about to be grabbed on either side, as Bot has actually been sniped up already. And we see Clan W Project One making quick work of that top side with his double buffs. On junglers are 3, as it looks like he'll do a little invade for some vision.
And remember, he's the substitute. He pretty much only played
That's true.
AD carry, but he's going towards mid here, where CKG has actually pushed up a bit. Project One go for the slow here. I don't know if CKG will have to flash here.
Worth a turret shot, I'll take it.
That was really good by CKG. He looked like he was going to go on the right side of the turret against the wall, so that made Zeno walk up, put the seismic shove there, kind of cut off the option, but CKG was already ahead of that.
Nice pressure to help out Zeno as well. They said there was kind of a back and forth between these mid laners to start things off, so Project One helping out with a bit of pressure there to give Zeno the upper hand, as he is a little low on mana. Prototype West pushed up, doing what they can to keep Noob and Korean Danny having trouble farming under the turret, but no worse for the wear here. Both AD carries doing quite well with their supports.
Yeah, just CSing underneath the turret and making sure that they can just pick up all of this and not miss anything. And so Korean Danny's off to a really good start here on the Kaisa.
Is there any way that you kind of get yourself in trouble with Kaisa, or do you have to wait early? As you said, you go aggressive mid-game.
1 item spike. So, like, Kaisa is not very strong at the beginning of the game unless you're, like, landing the W, which does, like, 100 damage in level 2, level 3. And so you can get some chunk combos off, but when you're paired with something like a Taric that can only really apply 1 passive of your plasma, whereas like things like Blitzcrank, Leona, Thresh can apply multiple ones, that's where you can dominate the lane. But right now it's just play it safe till you get to the Rage Blade spike, and that's where you can really take over the game, because she has just some incredible item builds that can come out here. And remember, this is pre-nerf and pre-changes to the Kaisa AP ratios. I wonder if it's a build that's still good enough that you would go AP now as well. Because on live, the build is you go Rage Blade into Nashor's Tooth into Death Cap or Zonia's.
Yep.
Just because her on-hit AP ratio is very good and her WAP ratio is also quite good. But even on live, it's still worse than on this patch. So I'm interested to see what happens. Oh, the Walrus, he's actually in the Spire. He's way better in this fight.
Not a great fight to take here for Project One. Does the damage. Thinks Zeno could come down. He baits him into the fight, knowing he pushed CKG a bit off. So it was a bit of back and forth. Predator is on. You can see it over INW's head. And he's going to fight for the Spire there. Good point that Walrus actually got that fight on the edge of his.
Yeah, got that fight on the edge of his Spire, which increases Skarner's damage so heavily because he's going to get all these extra attacks. He's going to have all that extra attack speed, and it's just going to make him feel like he's going to take that one. Even though Project One was a little bit lower, it helps the Olaf out a lot. But you saw there that Walrus was just in a way better spot.
Zeno backed up. Actually has some good work ground. If anything happens, you'll probably see him working to the right side of the lane at this point. Just a few soul flares getting back to the backside so he can get his damage done here. CKG be safe on the bot side. They actually haven't gone back to buy too much yet. Just one so far as they use their dematerializers to completely clear the lanes and keep it even.
And Top Potamus is 6, so he can go ahead and look for roams towards things like mid. teleports to the bottom side of the map. Both top laners have actually kept their TPs, which is always good for Ornn. People always forget that Ornn can just buy while he's in the while he's just out in lane. So the Malphite, it's on Saskio to back now, buy items, and then be ready for a TP. Because if he stays in lane because top Hippopotamus is here, if they both TP, there's an item disadvantage. But look at Project 1. There's the TP.
One teleport coming in. Saskio's holding in base. He's wondering if he needs to. Still holding it. The team may call it out for it. No, the smite from Walrus. Horn goes off, and the call, the Forge God hits them up, but he gets a good flash right behind West, who still has Unbreakable on, and they get out nicely for Maryville University.
Man, Maryville, that was Walrus coming up with the smite, just barely there too, because it looked like Project was going for the reckless swing into the smite, but it ended up just being a little bit late.
Here it is again.
It's about
the blast cone.
600 at that point. Here comes the reckless swing. Yeah.
Wow.
Right there. That was actually really close. I'm actually surprised he got that.
Impressive. With all the combo damage, you had a few coming in from Project, and top Hippopotamus' Ornn ultimate doing a bit of damage to it too. So.
Yeah, because it wasn't even a Skarner smite. I was watching his smite during that replay.
Was it the Praise?
It was
not
the
Praise
E.
Seeker, but
it was
yeah,
the
E,
yeah.
right. The Chrysalis.
The Fracture.
Yes, Fracture.
So look at this down bottom.
7.5 on the
If
clock.
they get a stun.
There's one Dazzle just in range. Throws on his Predator. Does he want anybody? But he takes the Winter's Bite, and that slows Project 1 down. No follow after he throws the Undertow Axe to get himself some aggression. Mountain Drake is up next. Maryville would love that on top of their Infernal to start things off, and that'll also help kind of having little damage. They don't have no damage. They're definitely going to be doing well for themselves now, especially a BF start. But every little bit will help here on out.
Yeah, and that's where just the Ashe feels better than the Kaisa. When you're going towards the Rage Blade, you'll have a little bit of AP when you buy the Amp Tome, and then the attack speed doesn't do as much for you as getting towards a Zeal or getting towards the BF sword versus the pickaxe. So this is a point where Prototype is going to feel a little stronger in the lane than Korean Danny. And he does have to kind of like weather this storm, but the one-item spike from the Rage Blade is just way better than the one-item spike for two parts of items that you would have for the Ashe.
Roaming around in the jungle. Walrus trying to stay hidden here in Mission Impossible. Walks over a ward though, so Korean Danny and Noob know he's down there. But it's going to be good coverage, and look at this. CKG getting the inside track on the roam, and it looks like they'll be completely pushed off of this unless they retaliate. Here comes Xeno.
Yeah, exactly. Got to watch for the Talia wall. There's always that chance that he goes for that play, but you can see where the warding is from Maryville.
Yep.
The gold is incredibly even during the lane phase here, but it's just that Infernal Drake for Maryville, plus their vision control is just a little bit better on the bottom side of the map.
Ooh. Step forward to dodge on the Winter's Bite. Looks to get a bit of speed from Unbreakable so he can start tagging on that passive. A nice trade back and forth. They do have to stay under the turret, but great aggression here from the bot lane. I'm loving this from Maryville and Illinois as they kind of just fight it out.
It's kind of blow for blow here, and then it really is who's going to tilt this. Is it the mid laners coming to the side lanes, or is it the junglers also coming down there as well? Because this is where I expect the action to be when it hits the mid game. But right now, it's just been nobody's been able to find that large advantage over the other. It's kind of Prototype getting a little bit more in terms of CS, but a lot of that's off the back of the item advantage and the fact that he now just wins trades. And you can see Walrus once again down here. They're just trying to crack the bottom lane and play to this side.
It may work. They have this Hawk Shot. Prototype has used it every time, has been able to go across the jungle, and it's been a lot of vision work that Maryville University is doing. They know they have upper hand pressure because of numbers. That might give Project 1 a chance to take down Shelly.
Yeah, Project 1, he's going to have to get something here on the top side of the map because top Hippopotamus' TP is down from earlier. So if something happens on bottom side, Saskio gets to go bottom. That's why Walrus is going there, because it's basically a 3-on-2. And if you bring your jungler down, it would be a 4-on-3 because you can't TP your top laner and they can. So it's a good point to focus there, but you can see that University of Illinois in kind are actually going with the right rotation and playing towards their top side, because this can get them that first turret. You've seen all the effort that Maryville's put to the bottom side. You can go ahead and knock down a turret with just this Rift Herald if you place it correctly.
There's a bit of a decent lead as well for Xeno in CS there, so we may be able to get a level cap, or not a level cap, but just a level over already 9-8. If they hit that level 11, get a nice ult in with his level 9, or level 5 damage for his Q, I should say. And then just start dealing it out. Love to work the left side of that lane, seeing that tendency.
Yeah,
It's like CKG has realized it as well.
Well, he worked the top side of his lane because remember, Project was just doing the Rift Herald. So
Right.
you're always going to be on that side. And then when your jungler gets to swap to the other side because their camps will come up, it's kind of this like ebb and flow of take top, go to the bottom. You will also move to the bottom and play to the side that your jungler's on.
Making it look easy. Clear out for Maryville. It's exactly what they wanted, to open the map first. They had the vision from Hawkshot, and now hopefully they can keep placing the vision down with wards. You saw that? Yes.
That's a really, really good point because Hawkshot is so hard to appreciate from a spectator point of view, but he spotted when they were taking and handing the blue off. He's thrown out that Hawkshot constantly to help his team, and that's allowed them to put pressure without fear of retaliation. And that's something in League of Legends that's kind of how the game works with aggressive lanes, is you're only hindered by the lack of your vision. And if Hawkshot is hitting the right places, you can constantly be aggressive. And we saw them push up multiple times there without fear of actually having a gank happen.
Absolutely. Kind of going for the for sure hits. No real problems can come with any of these. 30 seconds on Mountain Drake. With that turret being down, that really gives them a lot of great pressure to kind of hit Illinois on the bot side. But that's where they're hanging out. So with 4 strong, they may be able to contest this dragon.
Yeah, but the vision control just isn't there. The W is going to give vision across.
Here's my Hawkshot.
Yeah, it's kind of like a mini one, yeah. You get to check brush. Look at that. So many control wards just placed down here by Maryville. Actually, too many. They have 3. They just replaced them too.
Their ability to pull the trigger on an initiation allows them to kind of brute force walk in. They say, well, if we miss, you get an aerial in the face. Or if there's a problem, Glacial Fissure, we can walk out. They have so many kind of things to get themselves to safety.
Yeah, just watch Prototype. He actually has a clear angle.
No! Almost got the speed to get himself out. Now pulled in one after the other. Cosmic Radiance comes down slow, and it's going to be unstoppable for INW as he gets to the back line, but he can't take down Prototype. West lifts as well. Unstoppable force from Saskio. Hits the team. Top Hippopotamus tries to answer back. What a shield from CKG. How are Maryville University members still alive in this fight? As University of Illinois falls left and right. Project 1 got himself back spawned again as the rest of the team starts to come up. Top Hippopotamus will go down as he tries to stay alive valiantly.
He may
live.
Well, there is a long way before a turret,
the resolve didn't lock him down, so he'll be good.
Yeah, the mana's low.
There's the hit. He's going to turn back in. A few more. They finally take him down, and that kill, extended fight, goes to CKG. 4-2, 13 minutes in for Maryville University.
That entire sequence was just so close. We saw the ultimates make a huge difference. That's what you have to track here.
Crazy.
Saskio's ultimate turns it around where he gets 3 full HP members of the team of University of Illinois. And you have to look at that fight one more time because that was so close. Prototype starts off on the right foot, and they basically have Korean Danny not for the entire fight at all. He basically does 0 damage.
I think that's the part that makes it, how was it so close? Oh, they got it.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that Drake. It's a little temperamental right now.
A little extra time on that. But Maryville does get second Drake of the game as well. That objective control in hand.
Yeah, and now you see Maryville double banner of commands. They have one on the Karma in mid, and then they have one on Saskio in the top lane. So here comes the Rift Herald from Project 1. Oh, Korean Danny's going to go in.
Danny takes first hit on turret. He needs to get himself out. He is slowed a little bit. CKG wants the last hit. He misses the Q. And they're able to finalize the kill. A full party up top coming in from Illinois as they know they need to attack immediately and hopefully have enough pressure from mid, but Maryville strikes quick.
Exactly. They only trade 1 for 1, though, in terms of turrets. One person goes down, and that's CKG. But Maryville actually kind of get a better trade out of it because they get the middle turret there. Despite losing 1 extra person, the middle turret will allow them to get a lot more map positioning. And they've already been playing around it with all their control wards.
The banners are out and they are alive. We're going to replay of the last fight here, and it starts on Korean Danny.
Yep.
It's going to be on the middle of your screen right now.
As he's going towards the wall, he puts it across. He dies before the Cosmic Radiance comes through. And then this Ornn ultimate gets absorbed there perfectly by West. And then the 3-man ultimate where they can lock down Xeno, who still had Flash and Cleanse that whole time, but he was locked up and blown up there by Prototype. The ultimate from Saskio absolutely changes the fight, and you have to give credit to West. The block on the Ornn ultimate was huge too.
Really helping to make it go in their favor. You can see how much damage they were able to put out, and 0 from Korean Danny. That is impactful or the other way around.
It was a really good arrow because when he launched it across the wall there, that means that you can't dodge up as Korean Danny. You have to go down or back the way you came, which would be a little closer to the engage. So it was kind of a lose-lose situation for him unless he had flash and blue it then.
And that's the kind of fights we were thinking about. As soon as level 6 is hit, those lanes break. You're going to catch an arrow. You're going to catch a glacial fissure. And it was all over, as you said, that little placement of ward. They got cleared out. They replaced. Snap judgment.
And you saw how much they fought for that area. That Maryville saying they played around this Ashe multiple times and setting up for it. It seems like this is something they're very familiar with. But now, already transitioning to top side pressure. There's no Drake to take. There's only a top tier 1. They'll go ahead and put CKG up there, who already used his banner of command, but he does have a lot of wave clear here with only just a tiny bit of AP behind him, but it matters a lot.
Slow going for Topopotamus as he pushes up that turret in the bot lane. He might be able to get it if he's got some extended time, but I don't think Maryville is going to give much time to breathe for Illinois.
Yeah, and you see exactly where they're playing. Across from mid towards the top side, and they already have the bottom wave shoving out. So Maryville, because they got the mid, they get to play around this area, and they're going to go ahead and take this top side. They're only going to put as many people as they need there. Let's watch where the rest of them go, because it looks like they're going to go towards mid and say they don't need everybody here.
You're a wizard. Look at them heading mid, as you say.
You don't want to overplay situations,
of course,
right?
Of course.
You want to put only the number of people you need there. So they'll slow this very slightly, but they don't have the wave clear here, so they will lose the mid turret.
Watching to pull the trigger as they retreat. No good member for Saskio.
Good start.
They throw the arrow to stop it. A 3-man hit is the unstoppable for INW. A good kill coming out to start things off onto West. He's a lot of that defense. They hit back Saskio with the shove. He will go down in this fight as well. And it looks like Maryville University bit off a little more than they could chew. That
was so well done. Zeno pulls the trigger, throws down the wall, cuts them all off, and when they're all in the corner, West, sure, he absorbs Topopotamus's ultimate, but the big play there is that they're able to get onto Saskio, who dives in, and they blow him up, because it's a 4v5. They left CKG in the top side to get the turret.
It was interesting to see, because you didn't expect it to be such a pinch. Even Maryville thought they were safe.
Yeah, Maryville was saying, okay, it's 4v5. We need to play a little defensive. They play back a tiny bit here. They aren't really looking for this fight, because CKG is off on the side. And
nice
then
stop.
Great ulti from Saskio, but it just gets turned around here, because I don't think Walrus can really find a way in. I don't think West can find a way out with the position of that wall. And then CKG can't really get in either, because the flashes were blown previously for Maryville in the last fight, so it's exactly when they needed to fight. That was huge by Illinois. They saw this tiny window where CKG wasn't there, and Zeno was the one to pull the trigger.
I love the call of the Forge God from Topopotamus as well, because it made he used it quickly facing up to block it from coming back. So that means he had an open back to the entire Illinois team to do full damage. So everything clicked there for the University of Illinois. Let's see if they can keep those dominoes falling in their favor. 5-2 coming up on 20 minutes, but Maryville University says, we feel like we got pressured. Now we engage, put things back on our terms. Red buff being sniped out, that's Korean Danny's, and it looks like the hits are going to keep coming in. Topopotamus wants to be the front line, and Maryville University, they're in and out. They don't lose too much, but they did not get the red.
And this is the point in the game where one mistake actually can decide the game, because there's 20 seconds on this Baron, and when you have banners of command, multiple banners of command on a team like Maryville, it means that if they win a fight, they could potentially take the Baron, and then that is just a really easy way to end the game. And there is one banner on the side of Illinois, and potentially two when they have that Aegis in their inventory swap over. True. I would assume it would be another banner from Noob. But yes, the banners will make it so that the game ends very quickly once you get the Baron.
Just spawning onto the map. Remember, a little bit harder to take as well.
That's why you really want to win the team fight beforehand. It makes it so much easier to take it, not have to worry. Baron baits on this patch are quite difficult because it does a lot of damage.
There are still some that will try.
Yeah, I think it's still a viable strategy if you aren't starting the Baron, but the Baron is incredibly strong to the point that it got nerfed like a patch or two later.
This becomes difficult. University of Illinois has to get a perfect fight, but also off the Spire, not giving Walrus a lot of damage. They still want to get themselves in nicely, pushing off the exit route of Maryville University. As they throw down the Weaver's wall, smites from the jungler is going to come in. That's actually going to be INW Project 1's as Illinois got in to get the progression. And there's the stop coming in from West. Walrus almost goes down as Topopotamus is the focus. In goes Danny! Flashes over the wall for the hit to turn the numbers in the fight. 4v4 now as West is going to be flashing in to go down. Topopotamus gets a hit. They're going to lose him right after, though. A little retribution kill for Maryville University as it starts to sink in their favor. Illinois falls left and right, and it is a 3-for-2 in favor of Maryville University.
That was so close to Danny actually popping off in that fight. He had the full stacked Rage Blade, kept it up, dove in, finished off Walrus, and when he flashed over, I thought they were going to keep fighting. You saw he was 1v3 there at the end, and he wasn't able to pull it off because his team had retreated.
See it again.
Yeah, they're waiting here. They cut off the retreat, but this is the Cosmic Radiance from Noob. I think he's thinking that the team is going to pull the trigger on this and go in, but with the Cosmic Radiance down, it makes him an easy target. Another 3-man ultimate here from Saskio. The pull lands onto West. They drop him, and when Walrus doesn't die here, which means that Korean Danny sees the opportunity, gets the last hit, and then right here, West goes in, and he just drops, and Korean Danny steps forward, but Project is running away. Nobody else can soak damage here, and Saskio looks like he flashes forward to try and get the attack speed slow, so it was almost that fight that Korean Danny could actually take over, but there just wasn't the health bars there.
Yep. Prototype as well is trying to step up. Saskio, we saw in the last fight, had a lot of big damage, but with all of this, we're at 7-7, Irene. Only a 2K gold lead means nothing in this game, and the turrets are even.
But you do have to watch out at the item spikes now. I think the Prototype is now in the position to take over the game. We asked, where's the damage going to come from? And it was CKG has to do some, but Prototype is going to be the main damage source here. He has the Essence Reaver, he has the Runans for the team fight. He's already above the 10 CS per minute mark. He's a lot up right now. Look at that. He's almost 70 above his lane opponent. And he's looking like he's going to be in a position to almost complete that Infinity Edge before we see Korean Danny have 2 items. So Prototype, this is that big disparity, the 2,200 gold up for him.
The teams aren't, or I'm sure Maryville University as a team isn't even kind of giving those kills to Prototype. The fights are kind of going across everyone. 6 assists there as Saskio's been able to participate in almost 100% of these fights across the map. So you can tell they moved quickly out of that laning phase, and only 1 death across for the rest except for West, and that's how it should be. The kills and the assists sitting on those carries. See where they move from here, making sure Vision is on Baron, as both teams know that will be a very hard jockey for position quite soon. Infernal Drake is up, and these Drakes still falling into the favor of Maryville University as it's been a fight win, and then they're able to take it.
Yeah, they got that 1 steal there from Walrus that wasn't something that should have happened, but it did. And then this one here, Illinois pushed them away for a Cloud Drake and then lost the resulting fight. But a lot of that fight was close. But Noob didn't really get to absorb a lot of the damage. So it's kind of, Illinois have left some openings in these fights that have been very close for them. The first one where Korean Danny got hit by an arrow and his damage was 0. And then that last one where Noob's ultimate, which is supposed to be a team-wide invulnerability, did nothing there, and it was just waited out. And hold on.
A split, but an exit route coming in. They have to be careful how much they want to chase. Blocked in from West on the backside, but remember now West does not have that block. Walrus is going to be able to pitch INW, and they've chased way too far. I believe Maryville University is going to be able to turn this one back around, but big damage from Zeno. Cosmic Radiance comes down, and they are finding their targets. I'm eating crow, and Walrus is headed for the hills. They pick up another kill, a triple for Zeno as University of Illinois turns it around.
And that's exactly what they needed there. They went after Prototype. We were talking about it. The only really big damage source on the team, because CKG, he has a banner. That's not going to offer any damage to him in these fights.
Here it is again, these cutoffs.
They train him down. They say, we have to go after Prototype. Even when the ultimate is blocked by West, they 100% are throwing this unstoppable Olaf. They're throwing Topopotamus's Ornn in there, and then they even throw Korean Danny in there, who goes into melee range to make it happen, and then he gets blown up himself, so they trade 80 carries, but then Noob hasn't used the ultimate yet, and that's what changes the ending part of that fight there, where the damage is just so low for both sides, but Zeno's going to make the difference. The triple kill for the Talia, when he cashes in on that, he's going to be a large damage source.
That was an awesome fight. His ability to find work ground, but also stay in Cosmic Radiance, that little diagram he had to get himself into was perfect. And he was able to hit the full 5 volley each time for every Q. We saw the damage come out, and The result now is a very close game as University of Illinois gets a little breathing room. Maryville was very close to being able to pressure one fight Baron, and like we've said, being able to push down into the base. The odds even now, you can see a little bit more comfort from University of Illinois. They get wards forward, and they start to get themselves into a better position.
Yeah, and that triple kill for Zeno means that QSS basically paid for itself there in that fight. And so he's right back on track in terms of items. He's ahead of the curve in terms of where he needs to be as a Talia. CKG, on the other hand, lower damage for the Karma. He'll eventually spike back up because now he's going towards some needlessly large rod items.
Yep.
Getting himself, I believe, would be Death Cap. But Infernal Drake's coming up. The second one for Maryville would be huge. But Illinois are in a position where if they can get one themselves or even just a good fight, they'll be in a fantastic position. And we saw they kind of singled it out. They went, oh, Prototype is the damage. If they can just train him down, and they still have flashes. You look at all the summoner spells that are available for Illinois. I actually think Illinois stand a really good chance of winning this fight because there's no flash on Prototype, there's no flash on CKG, and those are the two damage dealers.
And the Maryville University like to put themselves in that position for a fight to possibly happen or an ultimate, but they're over the wall. They have to drop the wall. A good hit him. Walrus gets in. That's going to be a hit for INW Project 1 to get their second Drake of the game, and the fight is on. Saskia doesn't hit the targets that he really wants to on that one, and now they lose Noob. Will he be able to help with that ignite? The damage continues to follow through. Zeno gets slowed by the Shard, but he's still got movement speed. In goes Korean Danny. The shots are coming through. His project goes down. West follows shortly after. University of Illinois is turning this one on its head. And in goes Topopotamus. They're looking to take down Danny, but he gets another one for himself as CKG falls.
They were chasing him down. Topopotamus turns it around, and Danny has his back. He jumps in, and that is a 4-for-1. Right now, Illinois have control.
Headed to the Baron. This looks like it's theirs. Saskia would have to give up his life and that time on the map for Maryville to come back. I don't know if he's going to be able to do much.
Remember, this Baron is harder to take.
Zeno's low.
Some damage. Saskia's going to try.
This
he
is
might
looking
be
better and better. Oh my gosh, Project 1 goes down. That's one hit. Another Q, a shard possibly to Korean Danny. 200 HP, but he hits Topopotamus with it. But he does stop the Baron. Huge play. Good guy, Topopotamus. The chase is out, though. Now, Maryville University knows there's recuperation time for Illinois. They have time to play with Baron.
Yeah, this is the post-buff, pre-nerf Baron, so it does a lot of damage. It has way more HP than it used to. So even at MSI, this thing has like almost twice as much HP, if I remember correctly. It's much harder to kill, and that's what we're seeing right there, is Saskia understood with the update that they aren't taking it that quickly. Even with 4 people alive and damage dealers, it's not enough. But watch this fight one more time. Great ultimate there. Hits 2, but then good smite. This time he wins it and Walrus flashes away, so Project 1 gets it there. But Saskia, another 3-man ultimate. This guy, if you take the average of his ultimates, he's hitting 3 people per fight, and he's done it multiple times. But watch here. Prototype runs forward. Topopotamus realizes he's gone too far. Goes, hits him with the W, claps him, and then Korean Danny jumps in. And then he has the stealth already too, because I got the 100% attack speed, so he goes into stealth so they can't get the last hit on him with the Braum passive. And that's what turns it around there too. So that was Topopotamus really turning that one around, because he went to the bush, they lost vision, and Prototype was still chasing.
Wow, an immense amount of damage from CKG there. Hit some soul flares, most likely. Arrow down the mid lane, good dodges. And I think that's what we're going to see from Maryville University, one after the other, as Prototype gets that up and they're not in a position to defense. They're going to be throwing those arrows out to find a pick. One target is enough to get the pressure on to create a bigger fight. 15-11. What a swing so far in this game, and just about even gold and even Drake's on the map.
Oh, they caught 2. Walrus has no flash from earlier.
Gonna get that damage. Will it be blocked? It does that. Again, that means West is gonna take damage. Stand aside, he goes over the wall, and they drop it. Cosmic Radiance comes down at a perfect time, and it's the one pick coming out of University of Illinois over and over due to Zeno's walls.
Their team fighting has just been fantastic. Zeno with the setup, and then everybody else executing in it. Like I said, it's just those small things that made them lose the first and the third team fight of this game. But Illinois, they're right on the Baron. They have some engage left.
Full vision.
You gotta watch for Saskia, though. Saskia was the engage tool here for Maryville.
Unstoppable forces on. Waiting to pull the trigger. Unraveled Earth there, looking for the seismic shove. He hits it on the back line. He is looking for Korean Danny immediately. Huge shield coming out to start things off. Prototype's over the wall to look back at INW, and they are trying to trade kills, but the first one goes to Zeno and the backside. they are able to grab INW Project 1 as the Ignite ticks down just enough.
Yeah, West, I believe that was the dying breath from the Braum, was just take an Ignite, have this, and then he gets the jungler, so they can't re-look at that Baron. And we're looking at this game 30 minutes in, almost 31, and this is the first seed versus the 8th seed. And it is almost dead even. It's actually favored for the 8th seed, University of Illinois right now, off these team fights. They clawed their way back into this game. That arrow absorbed there, and then that keeps Korean Danny alive. He gets the shield from the locket, comes back in, and then they just train this fight down right there. Yeah, Project 1. Whoa, makes it a 1-for-1. And this is Maryville, defending champions, versus the team that got in through having to go through the play-ins after they didn't win their region.
Absolutely, undefeated in the regular season of the BTN Western Conference, and then ultimately lost to Maryland in that final. So having to recoup themselves and say, we still got it, and it looks like they do so far. Definitely putting up a great fight here. As you said, 1-8, they don't feel like the 8, and they're showing it.
Yeah, exactly. And this is a team that is going up against Maryville that has kind of that history behind them now of being a school with scholarships, a lot of power. And Maryville wants to establish a dynasty in terms of collegiate League of Legends. They won the last year, and now this year they're coming in saying, well, this should be easy for them.
Yeah.
There's more schools that are competing with that scholarship behind them, trying to draft that top-tier talent. And they were returning with 4 of those 5 members saying they can do it again. And they even brought West, who West is formerly West Coast Carry, who was the top laner for RMU. So he swapped roles, swapped schools to come over here, but he was somebody who has finals experience. Everybody on Maryville has been in these high-pressure situations. They have come out on top in the past.
Yeah.
And we're seeing that these guys who were a team of finalists going up against Illinois, who in game 1 is pushing them to the brink.
I was going to say, interesting they have to call upon those experiences already the first game of the day here as they have been waiting to get into this. Now they will push down that mid lane. 4-3 in turret, so they have a bit of an upper hand on where they can position themselves across the map quickly. A little bit more forward here on University of Illinois. And they're learning.
Yeah.
Absolutely learning.
No, fool me once, shame on me.
Twice, 3
Fool
times.
me 4 times in a row.
Maryville playing that one very smart now that they can get the little bit of separation. Korean Danny, quick cleanse. Oh, wait. I think they might have procced some ults. They may not have wanted to. A bit of miscommunication, but the fight may still ensue. And that's going to be a lot of hits going over to Noob. Cosmic Radiance goes down. Almost saves himself. Danny gets in as the Radiance is on. But this is not looking good here as Maryville University has to back up. Illinois is always finding the opening, always finding that priority target. And there is not a lot of damage left after those members go down for Maryville University. The fight still going the long haul, coast to coast. From mid lane almost to the base here from University of Illinois. And CKG doing what he can. Danny's going to push up the wave as they clean up the map and again slowly gain position on the map.
There's a kill per minute right now. And right now that was a 3-for-1. But Prototype, when he has no flash, they're just saying they're getting on that Ashe immediately. They're jumping at him. They're using everything. It's Project 1 rushing in. It's them putting what they can. So watch Prototype in this fight. The Ashe on the right-hand side of it, he uses the ultimate, but then they get away, and when they come back in, they want to train him down. They know he's the big damage source, and so they chunk him a tiny bit. He has a shield, sure, but then they just rush at him from 3 angles and dive on him in the back line. But that's it. They get the Baron finally.
Baron's in there. Korean Danny is low, so I don't know how much retaliation is going to be there. Prototype and the rest of the team coming over. His arrow has actually recently been used as well. You can see it on half cooldown. So University of Illinois, a little rough during the laning phases. Maryville really kept taking that vision control to the bank and got all the objectives, got all the map control. Here again, they'll finally grab one more for themselves before we see Elder Drake. But map control, oh my, so much going to University of Illinois with some fantastic play over the past 14 minutes.
Yeah, and the fact that they have that banner and now they also have that Baron buff on them. There's no more dematerializers on the side of Maryville. Maryville are in a position where they're going to have to force engages unless they seed objectives over and over again. They have the arrow to do that, and they also have the Malphite ultimate, but now we're seeing kind of the worry that was there before of where's the damage going to come from. It has to come from this Ashe, which is not in that S tier of hyper carries in terms of damage output in the mid game or even the late game. So you're going to get out damaged. It's an out composition at this point, but they had some control of that early game. But Illinois, their team fighting has been on point, and they've been focusing the right people.
Slow. Oh my word, the chunk of health from Prototype there. There's a Mantra shield coming in from CKG, but it does not heal him back up. That sticks for now. He doesn't have too much lifesteal for himself either.
And now is the point where he can block a little bit of that. He can delay the inevitable from that minion. And then the shield's down, so they're going to engage.
So methodical right now as they orchestrate around the abilities that are on cooldown here for Maryville University. And it's kind of showing Maryville what they did in the beginning. They were making very safe plays on the side of Maryville, knowing there were no negatives, and that's where University of Illinois is right now.
And you're seeing these huge underdogs coming in, putting the pressure onto Maryville. Like we said at the very beginning, Maryville, they're the ones who have to prove they can take down Illinois because it's expected that they're able to.
Absolutely,
Illinois
you said
are just
that's
gonna
the pressure, right?
Right? Illinois come in and they either upset or they play at expectation. Maryville either disappoint or they play at expectation. We're seeing now, this game one, Illinois, they're off to a fantastic start, 6,000 gold ahead. And if they win this, they put so much pressure on Maryville for the next 2 games.
Now, this is where we also said Maryville University has a lot of experience in these tight situations. Can University of Illinois keep it methodical, keep it simple as they get in here and not pressure themselves too much? Good damage on the turret. Might want to finish. It does go down. The arrow comes back out. Noob's happy to get hit with that as the 2-man hit. Korean Danny goes up, but he's going to be safe. Cosmic Radiance keeps the team nice and topped off as they're now on the top inhibitor. And they possibly are going to throw it out. Call the Forge God comes through. That's going to be CKG getting hit up as Walrus also has to flash. The inhibitor is the focus, but also the fight. The multitasking from University of Illinois is huge. But again, do they bite off more than they can chew? And they're giving Maryville a little bit of room. Good damage to take the turret down and a nice timing of knowing when to leave.
Yeah, I don't believe that inhibitor went down either. It's
no,
still
it did
up.
Stay up.
Yeah, they didn't go all in for it there. And
I should say a decent timing of knowing when to leave.
Yeah, so they ended up, they had a good wall. They got prototype flash
Here
as well,
it is again.
But it's the shield from West that really matters because when it goes down, West then doesn't have it. It gets hit over here on the bottom side, but then prototype goes to the top, and now he's just outputting damage, whereas they finally have the suppression there. Olaf no longer had his ulti, so Project goes down, and they defend the inhib, so they only lost 1 inhib off that Baron, but they lost multiple turrets as we see it 7-4 at the top side of the screen.
Whee!
But prototype splash, it's a huge cooldown. The Ashe doesn't have that. He has to rely only on the protection from the Karma and a bit of that protection from the Braum, who's mostly using the shield to block the Ornn ultimate, not a lot of the damage that flies his way.
Seeing who's got what, I think everything is pretty according to where it should be. Knight's Vows are on the 80 carries. They're nice and protected for each team as everybody tries to get those last little tidbits of defense for the supports for your 80 carries here. Those are the carries. They know Prototype is trying to do it with that cleanse up. You said his other safeties of heal and flash are down, so things are getting tight. They try to suffocate now towards the bot lane. See if they've thrown a banner to the top side. Actually, a banner for Maryville is pushing top. So if they can extend this fight, they might be able to get a little map control.
Now that wall is doing so much work. This is the pre-nerf Kalia wall, I believe, as well. But it stays up for so long.
She's weaving walls. Pushing back. Oh, the damage onto Walrus already. That was just 1 hit from a volley. And now the ground worked. They move up a little bit closer each time with that minion wave, but now without the wall. They're playing safe. They want to see if they can get a big ultimate out. There's Sasuke. He gives it to him with the unstoppable force. Walrus trying to get the safety as Cosmic Radiance comes down. That keeps Noob alive. In goes Korean Danny for the focus, and they're going to dive right under the turret, obliterating Maryville University. No chance of coming back in game 1. The triple kill for Zeno. Korean Danny pulling the trigger after Sasuke thought he had it for Maryville University. The Nexus turrets will fall, and the Nexus shortly after, as game 1 picked up by University of Illinois.
And you could see the elation there from Topopotamus popping off in that fight and then saying, all right, it's time to go. Game 1 to Illinois over the defending champion.
And that's one of those games where you kind of feel like, whoa, what just happened? Did we have time to really consider what was going down? And did we have time to say if they do that again next game, will we be ready for it? I think the composition, first off, might be a little different in that sense, for if Prototype especially is going to carry.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things where the Ashe has worked out for them so much in terms of the season. It's their most played. He has the highest KDA on the team. So I don't think it's exactly the Ashe. I think it's more of the supporting cast.
For sure.
Right? You have this Malphite that's going to go in. He's not protecting. He's offensive.
Actually, let's see that. Sasuke going in. We have the final fight right here, so we can kind of just describe this as it goes down. It was his initiation, and as the Malphite, you expect him to go in, right? That's the thing.
Yeah, but then there's the counter of the Taric. The Taric just does so much work here. Xeno, great QSS flash there, I believe. Potentially cleanse on top of it, but then the Ornn ultimate to counter. Korean Danny goes in, and they're all there, but oh man, that was great. A good stun across multiple members to lock them up there. I believe that was from Noob from the Taric. So he's playing incredibly well as well. In a lot of those fights there. And I gotta say, like, a lot of it was the damage from CKG just wasn't there because it's the karma. But also, I think a lot of the team, in terms of the composition, was just not meshing very well against what Illinois wanted to do. And Illinois wanted to go in, they wanted to play defensive, but then they wanted to have that Taric ultimate come down. Yeah. And then we got to talk about Xeno's walls.
They're walls absolutely ridiculous. Let's bring those up. The first one he actually did in the mid lane, and these walls still had a few exits, but they were acted on perfectly by University of Illinois, even if Maryville had a way out.
Yeah, because the flashes are all down here from the previous fight. Even though the Ornn ultimate's absorbed, it's like they get west, Sasuke now gets popped up, and that was a moment where you see CKG joins the fight 5 seconds later. CKG was on that top turret. They were splitting 1 and 4.
Yeah.
And Xeno said, I see an opportunity. He made the play that broke the game open because it was even then.
It was.
Actually,
Maryville had broke lane.
Ahead.
Yeah, they were like, oh, we have map control. They were also taking top. And then you were saying, hey, they have 4 here. They got to be careful.
Yeah, I thought that it was going to be a situation that's disengaged. But Xeno said, oh, they actually took a step too far forward, 1 or 2 steps too far forward. And you're seeing that experience on that Talia because he just punished the whole team and had a scoreline of 8-1 and 15 at the end of the game.
It was intense. We actually expected Maryville to keep initiating, which they did, but then you have to give a lot of credit to University of Illinois with exceptional team fights, finding the way to get around and then find the way to capitalize on an error.
Yeah, and right here, another great example. The arrow comes through, they hit Project 1, but then there's Walrus in the pit. He's dedicated to getting it, flashes away, and then
the initiation.
Yeah, the initiation. Sasuke hits 3 again, but then they all get split. It's the ultimate from Walrus onto Noob once again because they want to kill the Taric, but then Topopotamus here dips into the bush. Looks like he's still running away because they don't have full vision. And then he goes after Prototype, who took 1 step too far forward, and that's that positioning error. When you don't have a team that's built completely around you for defense, a lot of it is offensive, then you get caught like that, and that's that 4-for-1 that made a huge difference.
And the game moved pretty fast from there. You saw a little bit of milling about, but only 6 minutes later, University of Illinois was able to say, yeah, we're ready again. We know that the factor of some of your ults, boom, are down, but we can get to the back line and make it happen.
Yeah, West, I do have to question a lot of those Ornn ultimates, because if you're throwing it backwards, it's not as effective as let it pass through you, then throw it forwards if it's at you.
Yeah.
And then you get to have the right direction on your shield.
Oh my word.
And you get to block, but right there, that was Prototype. No flash available. They just train him down. And so I wonder what's going to happen in the next game because Tahm Kench was banned away by Maryville. And if they want to protect Prototype, something like a Tahm Kench could potentially be really good, or they ban away Ornn instead of Tahm Kench and make it so that they don't have to worry about somebody who they have to spend the shield from Braum on every fight.
Absolutely. You have to think as well as the jungle factor. We had INW Project 1 coming in with Minsu kind of being ready to slot in at the beginning of the day. So he's been hanging out, watching the game. He's like, I kind of got your jungle pattern figured out on the side of Maryville's.
Project 1, I think he had the Walrus jungle path figured out, even though, Walrus...
No, he did good himself as well. I'm just saying, this is another thing they have, but, doing well.
Cadiers is the person who played with Maryville up until this point from the halfway point in the season, brought Walrus back in. This team just brought in a jungler in Project 1, who's their sub, who plays 80 carry for them for 9 games. He hadn't played a game of jungle, and now he's doing it in the quarterfinals up against the first-seeded team, and his team just won.
Jungle easy?
No.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I'm saying he's a very smart player who puts in a lot of work.
I just love to hit you as a jungler. So we are going to be headed for a break, but when we come back, we will see if Maryville can bounce back or Illinois can take down the reigning champions in the first round. Game 2 is coming up after the break. top hippopotamus tries to answer back. What a shield from CKG. How are Maryville University members still alive in this fight?
Kaiser. Nice. Let's go.
Morris is going to be able to pitch INW, and they've chased way too far. I believe Maryville University is going to be able to turn this one back around, but big damage from Zeno.
Just Charlie. We got him. Turn.
Play around the put, or play around Danny. Play around Danny, then push mid. Play around Danny, then go mid. If you're low, go mid. If you're low, go mid.
Get Karma.
And that's going to be a lot of hits going over to Noob. Cosmic Radiance goes down. Almost saves himself. Danny gets in as the Radiance is on, but this is not looking good here.
Go ham in. Everyone go ham in. Go ham in. Everyone follow in. Follow in.
Go. We got this.
We win. Run down mid. Run down mid.
Let's go.